Hi, so today I wanted to do a quick review on my Cuttlebug embossing and die cutting machine. This was a request from someone who watched my art and craft tour, so thank you for that. So, for those of you who don't know what a Cuttlebug is, it's a little machine with like a turn handle and it just embosses card and paper. But it also can cut out shapes when you put a die through it. So I'll just quickly go through what comes in the box. So of course you get your Cuttlebug machine, and it's quite heavy and it has a little turn handle, and you have to assemble this when you first get it. The handle's not attached, but they give you everything you need. And it has a cute little handle that folds back in, and then both of these, when you fold one down, the other one comes out too, fold out flat. And so you just place this on the table, and then it means that you can put your card and your embossing folders through here. And I don't know if you can see, but there's rollers, so I'm moving it now with my hands. So basically you turn the handle, and the rollers, they're both top and bottom. Turn and it helps push through your folder and your card and everything. The size of this is roughly, it's A5 sized. So you can't actually put anything bigger than A5 through here. That's one thing that's not so good. But yeah, so that's the actual machine itself. And then in the box you get a few different things. Obviously you get your little user manual, and that just has really clear instructions on how you use it. So yeah, it goes through attaching the handle and if you're going to use cutting dies or embossing folders. So that's very handy. And then it comes with a variety of plastic perspex sheets, and they all have little stickers on with letters, so that you've got A, B and C. And so basically you always put A down first on the bottom, and then depending on if you're going to use the embossing folders that are by Cuttlebug, you use both the B plates. But if you have slightly thinner embossing folders, maybe by a different brand, you can use a slightly thicker one for C. So that's quite good. It means that you can buy alternative brands of embossing folders or dies, cutting dies. So it's very universal. And then it also comes with this Spongy Mat, which I actually have never used. I'm not even too sure what it's for, but yeah. And then my Cuttlebug also came with a few embossing folders and cutting dies. I did buy it about 5 or 6 years ago. Well, my mum bought it for me for my birthday, just from a little local art shop. So this is what it came with 5 years ago. I'm not sure if it still comes with the same things. So it just has 4 like mini embossing folders, just with like happy birthday, celebrate, a little swirl pattern and a birthday cake. And then it also came with a couple of cutting dies, 4 of those as well. So this is what it came with 1 cutting die and another 4 embossing folders. So the embossing folders, they just open out, and one edge is raised and the other one is the opposite of that, so it goes in. And then you place your paper inside and close it up, and then sandwich it between the correct plastic sheets, and then roll your handle and you push it through. And then this is what a cutting die looks like. This is actually the only one I have. I haven't invested in more yet. So it's metal on one side, and that's the shape that it cuts out there. And if you turn it over, it's foam, and then there is actually a little metal almost blade in one side, and that's what cuts through the paper. So I've also bought a few extras for it over the years. I've bought the Cuttlebug brand embossing folders. These are just some little Christmas mini ones. And then I've also bought like a swirly pattern. That's an not an A5, an A6 size, and then another kind of paisley pattern. I don't know if you can see that. And then I came across these, which I put in my review, my art and craft tour review, and they were only £3. The other ones normally sell between maybe £6 to £10. So I saw these for £3 and I couldn't resist. And this is by X-Cut, so it's not Cuttlebug brand, but they work just as well. And this is kind of a universal embossing folder. So that's like a little swirly one, and another one that's kind of swirly and like a frame. So, and even on there, they kind of have the general instructions on the back, like you put the card in the folder and put it through your embossing machine and such like. So the Cuttlebug machine is really easy to use. You just sandwich up your things and turn the handle, and there you go. So here's a couple of examples of what it looks like. So they're just the little swirly pattern in the corner. And that's an example of one of the Baroque patterns, and this is quite a thick paper, a thick card, and it does work well. I've used things like tags, gift tags and things, and sometimes when the card has a shiny surface, it can kind of break and it becomes a bit rough. But if you just use normal card that has a bit more give in it, that tends to work pretty well. What else have I got? That's just an example of a little Christmas card I made. So I just embossed the last, this little bottom bit, just to give it a bit extra. That's the frame design I showed you, so that's quite cute. You could go ahead and cut that out and use it to go around a picture just to make it look a bit more interesting. So I'll go ahead now and just give you a quick demonstration on how to use the embossing folders and the cutting die. Right, so please excuse my messy desk. I'm just going to quickly show you how to emboss with some card. So I've just got an A5 piece of card, and you'll see that that just fits in quite nicely like that. That is the biggest size card you're going to get in, so the width of an A5 piece is the biggest you're going to fit in to your embossing folder or embossing machine. So to begin with, you need to take the big white plate, metal plate, they call it a spacer, A, and that goes in first. And it doesn't matter which way you put it in, it can go this way, it can go that way, it makes no difference. The handle turns both ways, so yeah, doesn't matter which direction you put it in. And then you take one of your B plates, so there, and that's called a cutting pad. You put that in. Then you choose your embossing folder. So I'm going to quickly show you both a Cuttlebug brand one and the X-Cut brand one, so you can see that, you know, it's quite a universal machine, both types work. So the side of the embossing folder with the writing on is like the front of the folder, so that means when you're done, your embossing pattern is going to be 3D on this side, so the front of your card. So, you know, if your card has two different sides like this has like one texture on one side and it's smooth on the other, you make sure to choose the side you want as your front. So you simply just open up your folder, put the card in and shut it again, like so, and just position it however you want, and then you can place that down onto the first two plastic plates. And then you take, I'm going to take B again because I'm using the Cuttlebug brand. If you had a really thin embossing folder, or you're only going to use one side of your folder, then you would use the fatter C one. And again, you just sandwich that on top and place it on top. And then I just kind of push everything in together, and you'll see the handle start to turn. And once you meet resistance, then you can just start turning your handle, and it might creak a bit. Just got to hold it still, and it's quite like a firm feeling, and then you can feel when it comes out the other side. You can just take away your top plate, take out your folder, and that's it. Very simple. So that's worked really nicely. It hasn't torn the paper or anything. It's given a nice smooth finish. And then I'll just quickly show you again with my X-Cut brand. So you do the same thing again. You have your A plate and then your B plate on top. Again, this obviously doesn't really have a logo, but the side that's printed on is the front again. So again, you can just line that up however you want it. And place that on top of the first two plastic plates. Grab your B plate again, because the X-Cut and the Cuttlebug are very similar in thickness, so there's no need for the fat plate or anything. And again, you just hold down and twist until it comes out. Sometimes you'll hear kind of cracking noises, and it's nothing really to be worried about. Kind of just happens. So there you go. There's the other one. Just as good. It works perfectly fine. Yeah. So it's Cuttlebug and that's X-Cut, and they work just as well as each other. I'm just going to quickly show you with some like shiny, this is just origami paper, and I'll try and show you what I mean about when you sometimes use shiny paper. The surface finish is not as good, it sometimes almost rips. So let me see if that is going to happen. I'll just use the X-Cut one again. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I mean. So again, plate A, plate B, embossing folder and paper, and then plate B again. And alright, you can just start to see it's ripping in some places, and the same on the back. It's just starting to rip. So you can't really notice when the paper is patterned, but if you're a bit of a perfectionist, I don't know, stay clear of shiny paper because it seems to rip quite easily. So I'll quickly show you how to cut out a shape. So I'll just take again that piece of card, and I've kind of chosen this plate to be my cutting plate. As you can see, it has the shapes already cut out into it. So you put that down, and then you place your paper down, and then you get your cutting die, put that down, get your B plate, and again just feed it through, and this will make a little noise. There we go. Feed it through, pick it up, and there it is. It just cuts out the shape, and then you can just use it as a shape if you like, or you can then go ahead and be a bit adventurous, and I've got this little embossing folder. You can just place it in, line it up, put it in. It's a bit fiddly, and then you can like emboss your shapes. Sometimes it's easier to emboss first and then cut it out, as the little pieces of paper you end up with can be quite fiddly and small. But you know, it works pretty well whichever way you do it. I've noticed on Hobbycraft they have these tattered lace, they call it, cutting dies, and they do look absolutely beautiful. But they are about £15, which is quite pricey. So there you go. That's then embossed. That's cute. You can just stick that onto the front of a card, and you know, you could colour it in. I've also seen recently that you can apply ink to the cutting dies. So yeah, you can apply ink to one or other of the sides, and you can use it just as a stamp. You can keep it open and put it on just as a stamp, or you can use it as like a stamp and an embossing folder together, so it both puts ink and embosses. So I might try that out soon. I need to get myself a ink pad, and you have to make sure it's obviously a washable one because you don't want to be staining your cutting folders. So hopefully in the near future I'll do a couple of tutorials on using the embossing folders and cutting dies, and I might even invest in some of those pretty ones. So yeah, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos.